When I tell you that there is no place like social media to see something turn from one situation to another situation, literally in moments. Literally in moments. Only on social media can something that you work so hard for weeks on end and everything be going good. And then one false step and things can turn around and have you feeling as though you are literally walking backwards. And that is, I think, what's actually going on with our friend Armon Wiggins. Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on the video. Um, yeah, I'm here to talk about YouTube shock jock extraordinaire, is what I call him, Armon Wiggins. Also, his coverage of the Diddy trial. Now, I didn't really mess with the Diddy trial. It was a whole lot. It was a whole lot that a little too deep for me. A little too deep for me. But was I watching? Absolutely. Absolutely watching. There are many YouTubers who actually jumped out there. You had Mims, and you had Tisa, and you had Armon. Armon by far was leading the pack, and doing a fantastic job. I literally did drop down into his live a few times and told him I was proud of him and the job that he was actually doing. He let me go. He's Armand stays on the West Coast, and he literally took a chance on himself, which deserves celebrating. He took a chance on himself and the belief he had in himself and the career choice that he chose. And he brought himself to New York, and he sat for what is it, 60 days to do the coverage of this trial. And they weren't met with open arms always. You know, it was always a thing of, you YouTubers, you all are not journalists, and this, that, thing, and the other. And they jumped out there and they said, no, we're going to prove the people wrong, and we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And Armand was doing a fantastic job. He really, really was. He was doing a fantastic job. Um, and then, boom, one wrong step. And it just seems like maybe all the work that he put in and all the good that he did just flipped on its side. Once the verdict was dropped about the heavy charges, the RICO charges, and those things, Armand was outside of the courthouse, and it was like staging a coup. It was like, wait a minute. There was a whole little situation where he literally had taken and had someone pouring oil on him, and he's bouncing around and carrying on, clowning for the most part, clowning, and having this oil sprayed on him. Now, if you know Armand, you get it. You get it. And a little bit about Armand, I could just drop it right here. Armand loves Wendy Williams. He loves Wendy Williams. He patterns a lot of what he does by a lot of what Wendy has actually done. So he understands you're not always going to be liked. You're not always going to be agreed with. You're going to be met with adversity. All those things are going to happen. But you did so much good in this, with proving yourself worthy to be in the room with a Nancy Grace, with an Angela Yee. You literally put yourself into the arena. You literally sat yourself into the arena that you've been trying to get into for all these years. And then literally in minutes, it looks like it's all been torn down. Like it's all been torn down. The whole dancing around with the oil, it was not met with the hee ha ha that I think that he intended. Yes, it was a joke. He made reference to more oil and different things like that. It was a dark corner type of joke. You know what I mean? It was a dark corner type of joke. But was this the time for a dark corner joke? No, not at all. Not at all. The subject, like I said, I didn't even report on because it's too much. It's too much. Anytime you're talking about any type of sexual deviance or anything of that nature, and there are victims and victims' families and things of that nature, and then abuse, there, not the time for a dark colored joke. And again, people who love Armon and people who get Armon and they get his type of humor, yes, some of them will just brush it off, but there is some people that are going to meet you head on with it, and they're going to go in. And when I say that folks went in on Armon, it was rough, very much rough in the Instagram world and the Twitter world and on the YouTube world. There's been a lot of videos. I mean, really, really dragging him about his choice. And it went back to naturally, anytime you do anything and it's off, it's, they go back to your past and they're going to bring your past forward, and it's everything. I mean, here's the thing. That's part of being a shock jock. So I can't coddle him. I can't protect him. I can't save him. And I'm not here for any of those things. The shitstorm that he kicked off with that baby oil, he actually has to walk that himself. He's going to have to walk it himself. It was a bad choice. And the timing was worse. The timing was worse. But let me say this. Am I shocked? I can't say that I am. Because as good as he was doing, that was the shocking thing. The shocking thing for me is how good Armon was doing and how well he was holding up. There was another space in this trial where there was a clout chaser. There was a clout chaser who basically did a verbal / almost physical attack on him midway through. It was a female. And when I say I was holding my breath, he impressed me to be able to walk away somewhat. I was afraid for him then because he even made some missteps with that. She literally wanted to go viral, and that's what she was hollering. Let's go viral. Let's go viral. She's cussing him out outside the courthouse. He's trying to get away from her. But at the same time, I said, Armon, you got to watch. All the eyes are on you. People want you have a target on your back. His numbers were amazing. Day after day after day. Along with that comes the target. The target is, there's the jealousy. I have told you all before, every beef in the YouTube world that I've ever known of, when you dig down to the bottom of it, is about numbers, popularity, and money. That's the whole crux of every beef that I've ever seen, as long as I've actually been here. So when you start popping those numbers day after day after day, you got other people out there doing the same thing you're doing, and the numbers aren't meeting your numbers. You're going to have a target on your back. He knows these things. So it was like, come on, how do you do this? How do you not make these missteps? Armon is also a hothead. He's a hothead. That's when I got very nervous when this woman was approaching him. I'm like, again, and this whole thing, you have to watch the optics. You have to watch the optics. Right, wrong, or indifferent. What you don't want to do is end up into a physical altercation with a female. He is a gay male. I don't care how it goes down, whether she started it. The optics are always not going to fall in your favor. And she knew that. She knew that. She knew exactly what she was doing. And I was like, come on, Armon, don't do this. And, you know, when he opened his mouth and he said to her, if you don't get out of my face, I'm going to slap you. I said, no, Armon, no. So I was afraid at that point. I thought that it was getting ready to end there. I thought that the flip was getting ready to happen at that point. I really did. I was ready to throw in the towel at that point, but he did a good job. He he walked away. He did get away from her. He got out of the vicinity of her. He made it through barely. He made it through barely, because I was like, boy, the court of public opinion is going to eat you up. Is going to eat you up. The moment he made a statement about anything physical with her, I was like, Lord, they're going to get him. They're going to get him, because I already saw, you know, that the X was on his back. So they're going to get you. And he made it through that. And I said, okay, good. Let's go. Let's go. Then you made it all the way to the end. And then this buffoonery, because that's what that was. The whole dancing with the oil. And it was just flat out buffoonery. It was buffoonery. Now, is that part of the brand? Of course, that's part of the brand. That's part of his brand. He'll jump up and twerk, and I mean, he was doing all the things that make him Armon, and that's how the people stay. They stay entertained, and some other people got to know him, and it was okay with what it was. But then when it went to that off-colored, dark corner joke, that was just a bit too much, and it was just a bad decision. So again, I'm saying, okay, Armon, what's going to happen now? Because again, I'm still waiting to see the hurt Armon, the angry Armon, and is he going to come out, and is he going to, you know, I said what I said, and you know, all of that. I'm like, please don't do that. I'm like, because you may lose everything now, but please don't do that. And then he shocked me again. He shocked me again, and he showed up and he made an apology, did a public apology. And in the public apology, here's, because I'm not going to show the clips of the oil dance. I didn't, me personally, I didn't like the oil dance. I understood why he was being attacked. You just got to, come on, there's the victims, there's the victims' families, there's you know, it just, even with Diddy, and then people started to say, oh, well, he's siding with Diddy. He had kind of stayed neutral, because in this type of situation, you really do need to stay neutral as much as possible. You don't want to lean to one side or the other, because you want everybody. So you want all the ears, you want all the eyes, you want everybody to listen to what you have to say, and not so much of what you think. You are at this point, journalism, you are covering the situation. In journalism, we don't care what your opinions are. That is commentary. That's this YouTube commentary. You've stepped into a different arena. In a different arena, it ain't really important about what you think so much. Not with this situation. You were bringing the information to the public. And the best way to bring the information to the public is to keep yourself out of it. You put your not your spin, okay? Don't put your spin on it. You put your personality behind it and your delivery, not your opinion about what's going on. Okay. And immediately people with that little dance, it was like, okay, so you're celebrating with Diddy. So now all the people who are against Diddy are now against you. So it just was not a good look. It was not a good, it just wasn't good. It just wasn't good. And it wasn't what the journey was about. It wasn't what the journey was about. It was not what the journey was about. The journey was to show people that you could cover a story, stay neutral, deliver, be as entertaining as you are, and boom, I'm here. Everything that you said that I'm not, I'm absolutely that. And in one misstep, you became a YouTube content creator. And it was really, I'm delivering a dark color joke. And am I really, I don't think that was actually his intention. Let's read through what he said. Here was his apology. The apology, he said, yesterday, a clip of me outside the courthouse went viral and was taken out of context. What started as a lighthearted moment, part of a long-running joke with my audience, was misinterpreted as support for Sean Diddy Combs. That was never my intention. For the past 60 days, I've worked hard to cover this case with honesty and objectivity. That moment was about sharing a bit of levity with the community that's been on this journey with me, nothing more. Still, I fully understand how the timing and the optics may have felt hurtful, especially to survivors of abuse. I sincerely apologize to anyone who was impacted or disappointed. This has been a reminder to move with greater care, and I remain committed to doing this work with integrity and heart. Now, this whole statement, I gotta say now, that whole statement, that is literally that. When I say growth for Armon, see, there's so much good along with the bad. That statement itself is a whole lot of growth for Armon. The Armon that we're used to would stand here and stomp his feet and tell you, I said what I said, you didn't get it, that's your problem, and cuss you out. So there definitely has been growth, and I think a lot of that came from the whole situation that he went through with Fox Soul. And of course, that's immediately where they went to all the missteps that he made with the Fox Soul situation. Now, I see growth, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. It's going to be, listen, the court of public opinion is a rough one. The court of public opinion is a rough one because it's made up of nothing but judges. It's literally made up of nothing but judges. There is no jury. It's literally all judges. Everybody got a gavel in hand. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this pans out. Are the people going to forgive? They'll never forget. But are the people going to accept the apology? Is the court of public opinion going to accept the apology? Or are they going to throw the towel in on Armon? Is it one misstep too many? One misstep too many. One thing I will say, I think you took an excellent step in the right direction by not firing off back at the court of public opinion. Because in most cases, do you really win in the court of public opinion? No, you don't. It may make you feel better for a minute, but do you actually win in the court of public opinion? Not really. Depending on what you're doing. As a YouTube content creator, hey, sometimes it gives you the space to act an ass. And I'm just being honest. It gives you a space to act an ass. The worse you talk, the worse you act, the more they like it sometimes in the YouTube sphere. But when we're talking about true live journalism, the likes of a sitting on stage with a Nancy Grace and sitting next to Angela Yee and talking with the Breakfast Club and wanting all these things, mainstream media, there's really no win standing on what they call, the kids call standing on business. I'm standing on business. Standing on business will have you bankrupt sometimes. Sometimes. Definitely better decisions need to be made. It's a hard knock life. This is hard knock. This is hard knock. I don't want to see everything he worked for be destroyed all in one fell swoop, but that's really not my call. I'm only one of the gavel holders in the court of public opinion. I do believe that the apology was heartfelt. I do. As far as the actual the oil dance, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on that. I just very distasteful. It was very distasteful. I don't know. I get that he said that it was it was a joke. It was a joke in between him and his viewers, the viewers that you had already, not the new people that came. I don't think the new people that came actually got it. And the people who were opposing definitely didn't get it and didn't want it. So I don't know. It's going to be about recovery. Can there be recovery? And all we can actually do at this point is sit back and watch and hope for the best for Armon. I do. I do. I'm a fan. I hope for the best. But again, in this instance, there's nothing I can actually do. I can't save him. I can't excuse him. He was wrong. He did what he did. The timing was off. The optics were off. It was just a bad decision. And we just got to see what happens. One thing I don't want to happen, I really don't want to see him be the Chrisette Michele of this situation. I really don't. I really don't. And I fuss about that a lot. That little Chrisette Michele situation, it's like it doesn't matter what she does. The court of public opinion is just not accepting her back into the fold. And I definitely hope that is not what happens for you, Armon. But you listen, it very well could be. That's just the reality. It very well could be. There could very well be some people who never forgive you. And all I say is whatever it is, do just like Chrisette Michele, keep pushing. Because she ain't never stopped saying it. She keeps on pushing. But it's hard to even watch how things have gone down with her and how the court of public opinion will not turn her loose. They will not let her loose. So I said, that's all I wanted to say. I came out and I wanted to talk about that. Really rough to watch. Really rough to watch. Such good work and such hard work spin on its axis, and just 2 steps forwards and 12 steps backwards. I don't know. All right, you guys, listen, thanks for listening. You all have a good one. I love y'all for real, and I will see y'all on the flip side. Y'all have a good one.